Hello, colorful morning dear students. How are you? Hope you all are fine and enjoying the online class from your home. Welcome back to Mahila Samaja Digital Classes. Subject EVS topic Earth's richest weather, water, air. Class 4th standard. Dear students, in today's class, let us know about weather, water, air. Observe the above picture carefully. What is common one thing you can see in all? Tick the correct option. First picture, the weather is hot. Second picture, the weather is cold. And the third picture, the weather is rainy. Sunny, windy, cloudy, rainy, snowing. These are the words which describe the weather of a place. Weather stays with us all the time. Weather is the state of the air at any given place and time. It can change within a few hours. It can stay the same for few months at a time. A similar kind of weather in a particular place over a long period of time, few months, is called climate. Climate mainly depends on how far north or south of the equator a place is and how much sun it gets through the months as the earth moves around the sun on its orbit. The sun. The sun, which is the center of our solar system, is the weather maker. All weather conditions happen because the heat of the sun keeps the air moving all the time. As the earth's crust heats up during the day, the air in the atmosphere also heats up. Hot air is lighter, so it rises and cooler air moves into fill up the space. Moving air is called wind. The rotation of the earth, which causes day and night, is responsible for the temperature changes. It is hottest during noon when the sun is directly overhead. Mornings and evenings are a little cooler as the sun rays are slanting. The sun also heats up the water from the huge water bodies on the earth's crust, seas and oceans, etc. And this water vapor forms clouds. The clouds then release water in the form of rain. You know children, the temperature varies at different places on earth. It all depends on where you are. If you live in a place on or near the equator, the temperature will always be high there because the earth is closest to the sun at its equator. So the sun rays meet the earth straight on. As you move away from the equator and the earth curves away, it starts getting cooler till you reach the poles when it is always cold. This is because the sun's rays meet those places at an angle. Air. The air we breathe is all around us. It is an invisible mixture of many gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor. The layer of earth that surrounds the earth is called atmosphere. Life is possible on only earth because of its atmosphere. It is the atmosphere which protects the earth from the harmful rays of the sun. It also balances the temperature of the earth. Without it, we would experience temperature ranges from 190 degree to 110 degree between night and day. Air moves all the time. We cannot see it, but we can feel it when it moves. This is what happens when we switch on a fan in a room. Due to the annihilating of air in different regions of the earth and the formation of water vapor, changes take place in the atmosphere. This causes movement of air. Warm air rises up and creates a region of low pressure. Cold winds from region of high pressure rush in to fill the vacuum. Land breeze and sea breeze. Gently moving air is called breeze. Sea breeze. In areas near the coast, there is land breeze and sea breeze. Land heats up quickly than water. As the sun rises in the morning, the land heats up and the warm air over land rises. The water is still cool, so cool air from the sea comes in to take its place. This breeze blowing from sea to land during the day is called sea breeze. Land breeze. At night, the opposite happens. Water loses heat at a slower pace than the land, which cools faster. So as warm air forms the sun rises, cool air from the land moves out to take its place. Air moves from the land towards the seas. This is called land breeze. Windwards. Air can move at different speeds. These cause different effects like wind, moving air, breeze, gentle wind, gale, a very strong wind, gust, a sudden strong wind, storm, a very strong wind, thunderstorm, when the storm is accompanied with thunder and lightning, tornado, a very strong wind that goes quickly round in a circle or funnel. Water. The total amount of water found on earth never changes. It just moves from place to place and from one state to another in a continuous process. So it is called a water cycle. See in this picture, children, ice cube is a solid state. When ice cube is heated, it changes into water, means liquid state, and again boils water, it changes into vapor states. Ice changes water, water changes vapor. Solid state, liquid state and gas state. Ice, solid state, water, liquid state and vapor, gas state. Similarly, when vapors cool, it changes into water and water freezes to becomes ice, solid state. Therefore, this process is known as interchangeable of matter. Water words. See in this picture, children, clouds, big mass of condensed water vapor floating in the atmosphere, usually high above the ground. Like this, these are the water words. Everything on earth is useful, even the dust which irritates us. We have to keep cleaning our things because dust settles on them. This dust is in the air. Dust is very important because if there were no dust, there would be no rain. The water vapor is a gas. It needs something to condense on. So it condenses on small particles such as dust and smoke. Humidity. The amount of water vapor in the air determines the humidity of a place. If it is hot, the air can hold more water vapor or moisture. So even though we sweat when it is hot, we are not uncomfortable as the sweat evaporates from the body. But when the air cannot hold any more water vapor, the humidity is nearly 100%. That is when we feel uncomfortable because sweat does not evaporate into the air and we feel wet and sticky. Purification of water. You know, children, uses of water like drinking, cooking, bathing, washing, swimming, etc. More than 75% of our earth is covered with water. But how much of it is fit for consumption? The water in seas and oceans is salty. The freshwater bodies have water which is not clean. It is mostly polluted. So, before we drink water, we have to first remove dirt and germs from it. Drinking polluted water can make us very ill. There are several ways of purifying water. First one, boiling. Boiling water for a few minutes kills all the germs present in it. Boiled water should be stored in clean vessels and bottles. Next, filters. In the most houses, filters are used these days to purify water. Water is passed through different kinds of filters including charcoal. Impurities are left behind on the filter and clean water is collected in the vessel underneath. Sedimentation, decontention. This is an old method of purifying water, wherein the water is allowed to stand untouched for a few hours so that the heavily insoluble impurities settle at the bottom of the vessel. This process is called sedimentation. Then the clean water on top is gently poured into another container. This process is called decontention. Nowadays, chemicals are added to water to kill germs. Chlorine is frequently used, especially in big water tanks and swimming pools. But this method is not very good as it can cause many skin related diseases. Points to remember. Weather is the state of the air at any given place and time. All weather conditions happen before the heat of the sun keeps the air moving at all the time. Hot air is lighter, so it rises up and cold air rushes in to take its place. Places on or near the equator are hotter as the sun's rays meet these places straight on. It gets cooler and cooler as we move up north or down south towards the poles. The layer of air that surrounds the earth is called atmosphere. Life is possible on our planet only because its atmosphere balances the temperature. The total amount of water found on earth never changes. It just moves from place to place and from one state to another in a continuous process. So it is called a water cycle. The amount of water vapor in the air determines the humidity of a place. Dust is very important. It helps in bringing rain. Water should be purified before consumption. matter, solid, liquid, and gas. Nearly every substance in the universe can be classified into three categories, that is, solid, liquid, gas. You all are also aware that everything in the universe has weight and occupies space, whether it is an invisible gas or a gigantic star. Anything that has weight and occupies space is called matter. Matter is all around you. The food you eat, this book you are reading from, the air you are breathing, everything is matter. Matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms. These are so small that we cannot see them. These atoms usually join together in small groups called molecules. A water molecule is made from a pair of hydrogen atoms joined to an oxygen atom. So the composition is H2O. It is how the molecules are packed or arranged which defines whether the substance is a solid, a liquid, or a gas. Solid. Solid have a definite shape and volume and do not flow. A rock will always remain a rock unless you break it by applying pressure or any other external force. Solid can be hard, soft, big, or small like grains of sand. The molecules in a solid are very tightly packed and held together in extremely strong bonds. There is just no space for them to move, and this is what gives them their fixed place. Children, listen carefully. Is the salt we eat also a solid? Yes, it is solid. Next, liquid. Liquid flow and take the shape of the container they are poured into. They have no fixed shape, but they have a fixed volume. When you pour a cup of milk into containers of different sizes, it will take the shape of the container, but the volume won't change. The molecules in a liquid are not packed tightly together and their bonds are weaker. There is space between them, which gives them the flexibility to move. Is Fevicol a liquid? Yes. Air. Air is mixture of and air is everywhere. So we can say that gas is everywhere. Like liquids, gases have no fixed shape. They take the shape of the container they are filled in. But unlike liquids, gases no fixed volume. The molecules are spread out and their bonds are very big. The gas molecules are full of energy and keep bouncing around constantly. So the bonds that try to hold them together break easily. Change of state. Even though the three states of matter appear very different from each other, they can change from one state to another if the right amount of energy, temperature plus pressure is provided. Different substances change their state at different temperatures. Melting. When left at room temperature, solid ice melts to liquid water. The temperature at which a substance melts from solid to liquid is called its melting point. When a solid is heated, the molecules begin to vibrate faster, thus losing the bonds between them. As the temperature increases, the bonds weaken further, till at a particular temperature they break apart and begin to flow like a liquid. Boiling, steam and evaporation. When water is heated and begins to boil, it forms steam. The highest temperature a liquid can reach before turning into a gas is its boiling point. When a liquid is heated, the molecules, which are not as tight packed as in solids, start moving around with far more energy, and there comes a point when bubbles begin to form. This is when the liquid has reached its boiling point. It is then that the molecules start escaping from the surface and become a gas. If the heating continues, all that liquid turns to gas. We say that the liquid has evaporated. See the picture, children. Tick the correct process. This is boiling or evaporation. Answer: evaporation. Condensation. Molecules of gas move around freely as the bonds between them are very weak. When gas is cooled enough, molecules begin to bond such that they form drops of liquid. This is called condensation. This is what happens when we hold a cold melt lid over a pan of boiling water. Water vapor condensing from the air on leaves, petals and grass is called dew. Different gases condense at different temperature. Freezing. The process of changing liquids into solid is called freezing. Water freezes to become ice. When you put it in the freezer, the cooler the temperature in the freezer, the faster ice will form. Most substances contract become smaller when they freeze as the molecules get tightly packed. Water is the only substance which expands when it freezes. So water pipes burst at time in several winter conditions. Solutions. Why cannot we just drink water directly from a fresh water body? Ponds and rivers. Water gets dirty very easily because it is an excellent solvent. This means that things dissolve in it very easily. Activity. Let us see for ourselves. Take a small bowl and a big cup. Pour water in both. Stir a spoonful of salt in each. Keep stirring. After 5 minutes, search for the salt. Can you see it? No, salt is invisible. This is because salt has dissolved in water. Now taste the water from both. It will taste salty, but the water in the boil will be much more salty. Whether the water is little or more does not matter. Contained substance will completely dissolve in it. However, the quality of the dissolved substance will vary. As you keep on stirring salt in each, maybe 3 spoons will disappear in the small bowl and fourth one will just settle at the bottom of the boil. Once again, listen children, certain substance will completely dissolve in it. However, the quantity of the dissolved substance will vary. That is because the marble solid are too big and the space between the molecules of water liquid is not big enough, and pressure remove all solid do not dissolve in water. Solute plus solvent is equal to solution. When no more solid can be dissolved in the solvent, we say that the solution has reached a saturation point. No, I know. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Matter exists in three states: solid, liquid, and gas. Matter is made from tiny particles called atoms. Atoms join together in a small group called molecules. The molecules in a solid are very tightly packed. The molecules in a liquid are not tightly packed. There is space between them. The molecules in a gas are spread out and the bonds between them are very weak. All three forms of matter are intouchable. Different substances change their state at different temperature. Solid changes to liquid by melting. Liquid changes to gas by evaporation. Liquid changes solid by freezing. Gas changes liquid by condensation. When a solid dissolves in a liquid solvent, it forms a solution. Thank you everyone for watching.